Welcome back to AutistiCoder. In this video, we'll be building a Pokémon data table with React components and HTML elements. Let's get started. HTML elements are the basic building blocks of any web page. Think of them like building blocks that define the text, images, and other elements you see. For example, h1 represents a heading and div represents a section of a web page. HTML tables are used to organize data into rows and columns. Inside the table, we use tr for each row and td for each cell. We can also use thead to add headers and tbody for the main content of the table. Here's an example HTML table with the names and birth dates of famous American football players. A React component is a reusable piece of code that makes it easy to organize and manage parts of our app. It's similar to a function, but it's used to create parts of the user interface, like a section of content or a button. Components are like objects in JavaScript. They let us organize and reuse code, and we can give them data in the form of properties using the props function parameter. To include JavaScript values in the return value, we use curly brackets. Here's an example component that has trainer name as a property and a heading that says hello trainer's name. We can use one React component within another. Here's how we use the greeting component in our home component. So hello AutistiCoder appears in the home component along with our main heading. To display Pokemon data, we're creating a Pokemon table component with a property that has the Pokemon data. Our table has columns for name and base HP to show each Pokemon's name and health points. We're using sample data for 3 Pokemon and mapping it to display rows dynamically.
So here's the code for a fully formed Pokemon table component. You'll notice here that it has props variable. It has a property Pokemon data, and this Pokemon data is a list of Pokemon with names and base HPs, like so. And then down here we have the home component. This is our base component. In this application, we've defined some sample Pokemon data, or I should say example Pokemon data, and then the home component will return a div with an h1 with a header for Pokemon app, and then our Pokemon table with property Pokemon data equal to the Pokemon data up here. Now that we have our component built out and called in the home component of the application, we're going to run the application, and we're going to go to command prompt. And once we're in command prompt, we're going to go to the folder where the PokeAPI project is, where the project is stored. And then we're going to type npm run dev and hit enter. And so this will start the development server, and you should see a green starting check mark. And once you see a green ready check mark, you'll be ready to proceed. And so we're going to go to http://localhost port 3000 in our browser. So you should be able to see you have our Pokemon app header up here, and then our Pokemon data in the table.
Great job so far. Now that we have our Pokemon table component displaying placeholder data, it's time to move to the next big step, pulling in real data. In the next lesson, we'll cover JavaScript promises and how to use the fetch function to retrieve Pokemon data from the PokeAPI. Soon, our app will display actual Pokemon details dynamically. Stay tuned.